The Candle, by Leo Tolstoy, narrative retelling. In a small Russian village, long ago, the peasants lived under the heavy hand of their landlord and the local officials. The poor worked from dawn until dark, giving much and keeping little. They were used to being called together for meetings where nothing good ever came of it. Just more taxes, more orders, more fear. One cold evening, the landlord called another gathering. The peasants crowded into a dim wooden hall lit by one smoky lamp. The landlord sat on a bench beside the government clerk, both wearing fine coats, their faces proud and hard. The peasants stood quietly, caps in hand, eyes on the floor. The talk began, harsh, bitter, and full of deceit. The officials argued, the clerk wrote down false reports, and the villagers murmured in confusion. The air in the room grew thick, not only with smoke, but with dishonesty. Then quietly, from the back of the hall, an old woman stepped forward. Her shawl was patched, her hands rough with years of work. Without saying a word, she took a small candle from her pocket, lit it, and placed it before the icon of Christ that hung on the wall. The tiny flame flickered, sending a soft glow across the faces in the room. For a moment, everything grew still. The old woman bowed her head and began to pray, not loudly, but with deep sincerity. Something in that moment changed. One by one, the men who had been arguing began to fall silent. The landlord looked away, the clerk stopped writing, and the peasants stood straighter. The light of that single candle seemed to pierce the shadows, not just the ones in the room, but the ones inside their hearts. Then a man spoke. He admitted that he had lied on a report. Another confessed to cheating his neighbor. Even the landlord, trembling, bowed his head and said he had wronged the people. Tears came, and so did peace. When the meeting ended, the air felt different, pure, calm, and full of something unseen but powerful. The old woman blew out the candle, but its light remained in every heart that had seen it. Morale. Even the smallest light of faith can scatter great darkness. Truth and goodness begin with a single spark. One humble act done for God.